everyone. My name is Eva, and today I will be leading you into my beautiful topic of Dear Beloved Strangers. Okay, strange topic. Pop quiz. Does any of you know the exact date of your parents' birthday? Can I have, let's say, shout out, I am awesome, if you know the exact date? Okay. Well, that is much better than I thought, but there are a lot of you here who actually don't know. So as a result, I want to say here is that our parents seem to be a stranger to us more than a family in a lot of times. We don't really know them. It's like we love them, but not really knowing them. So as a family, we're meant to be tied together, and we're supposed to know a lot of things about them. But it just seems like sometimes, do I really know? Now, a lot of people want to improve this situation, and they would try very hard. But when they sit together, they would tend to go, tuck, 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 tuck. Or the other extreme of shouting to each other, "What is the matter with you? What is wrong with you?" And that would happen. Arguments happen all the time. But when it comes to parent and children, it just seems like that there's this gap in between, right? That we cannot cross. So this is called the generation gap. A lot of you might have heard of it. And according to two authors who study theorized generational cycle, generation gap has been a problem since the early 20th century and continues to be an issue. I personally believe that I have a very good relationship with my parents. We're more like friends, and I get to tease them, right? But we were not this close a few years ago. Me and my mother were in different countries, so we don't see each other much. I miss her a lot, but I don't really know her. And then there's this time where I was in the airport after not seeing her for a complete year, and I was like hugging her and everything. But then internally, I was like panicking. What should I say to this woman? Oh no. My father, on the other hand, was a different situation. We lived together and we were in the same house. But we still don't talk to each other. It's more like, hi, good morning. And we don't talk, because we don't really know each other. So you may ask now, why does that matter? Why do we need to care? Actually, communicating with our parents is very important. According to two articles that study children's behavior, parent and children interaction influence the primary social connection from infancy. So as a baby, we're impacted a lot by our parents. And as we grow up, we become adolescents, but they still continue to influence us. The connection with family actually can shape our identity. So here's the point. Our parent-children connection can really change our lives and sculpt who we are. So that is very important. Now, how to solve the problem? The key here is communication. Back to my story, when me and my mom were living together again, we talked a lot, and that's what brought us closer. So the point I'm making here is to spend more time together. Just like any other relationships, the more time you spend with each other, the more you know about each other. But that's not always the case. As, on the other hand, my father, we still are in the position of, well, I don't really care. We actually didn't get much closer 2 years ago. It wasn't until COVID that everything really changed. So we were having online lessons, and I, as the perfect student, decided to put aside my work and go read novels online. Yeah. As my parents discovered that, they decided to stop me. And then my father decided to do the same. So now he's the one on his phone all the time reading random stories. Now that's the point. It's not a good thing, but that's what got us much closer to each other. We started talking about the stories that we read, and that's what sparked our conversations. And now we're very close, talking about everything we can think of. So the point I'm making here is find something in common. In many relationships, that's what started everything. We find something in common, and then we talk about it. That's what brought our relationship together. But as parents and children, we don't really have a choice. So then what we have to do is to find that thing that can really connect us together. And that would make everything easier. The third point I want to talk about here is respect. Many parents would say, well, I respect my child. Yeah, I'm fine. But a lot of parents mistake respect with being kind. As for respect, we are meant to be in the same level. As for many parents decide to put them a little higher since they are very used to being in control of that person. A lot of times they forget. So the thing with my parents that I really love is that they actually treat me as an equal individual, and they would give me the same respect as they give each other. So parents maybe sometimes forget that. I would say to make like a mold of being a friend. So as in the model of being a friend, you are in the same position. It is much easier to communicate with someone who stands at the same level instead of someone being higher. And that would lead the relationship being better. As for children and teenagers, we also need to learn to respect. Because parents give up a lot of things to have a child. And a lot of times we forget, because it just feels like we deserve the love and care from them, that sometimes we forget to be thankful. The fourth thing here is to understand. Why is generation gap such a big problem? That is because we have very different experiences growing up. As a child, it's very different. Our parents didn't have any technology, and they haven't even imagined maybe a cell phone. But for us, we live in this age where information explodes on the internet, and we get to know many different things. So obviously, we have different perspectives on things. The world seems to be different. So it's very easy to think sometimes when we're talking, is the other person kind of insane? Why would they think this way? And this time, this is very important at this moment to really understand, to put our feet into the other person's shoes, and to think, well, okay, maybe this is caused by the environments when they're growing up. Maybe it's something that I haven't thought of. So that would many times stop an argument from starting. Every time I find my parents' thoughts a bit not understandable, I would stop for a moment and think, okay, maybe what would happen if I was born 20 years earlier? What would I see? What would I know and what would I not know? And that sometimes stops me from actually going into a problem and arguing with them over and over again. So maybe next time, when we see our parents, our family, anyone that we care, we can talk to them, have fun, and reconnect. Thank you very much.